In this case, the audit that we're going to be doing is a work at heights audit. So we're going to be going out into the field and answering a bunch of questions about people who are on ladders and using mechanical lifts, etc., to make sure we're safely handling all of those processes. So I've created my form record. Now I'm a mobile user that's actually going on site, and I am responsible for answering this or filling out this form. So I'll quickly, before I leave the office and I've got internet connectivity, I'll sync up, and that new form record has been created for me. It's Storm Energy. That's this audit that we're going to be doing. And so now what's important to know is that Youreka can work without internet connectivity, which is in many cases, we talk to customers all the time. In many cases, their users are not going to have connection. So we're going to sync up this form like we just did before we leave the office. And then I'm actually going to remove all internet connectivity from my mobile device right here. So I'm in offline mode. Everything that I'm about to do is going to happen without internet connection. So I'm driving to this Storm Energy, this specific location. And when I hop into the form record itself, we're going to notice that I'm presented with all the questions that I need to fill out here while I'm conducting this audit. Couple of things to pay attention to right here. First of all, the form is pre-populated with some information, and it's actually pulling information from the audit record right here. So I've got the specific location, I've got the inspection date, and I've got the brief description of the audit that we're going to be doing here. So this information has been pre-populated. If I want to, I can make changes to it. So we'll just say test, test, test at the very end of this. And when I make those changes back in the system, they'll be reflected here inside of Salesforce. So as soon as I submit this form at the end of my audit, those changes will be made. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just proceed with my actual audit. So there's a bunch of questions that I need to answer now as they pertain to what I'm seeing here on the job site. And the very first one is I want to know if there's actually a signed JSA. Like, can we proceed with this audit, or do we need to do that first? And the answer is I actually have one, but if I didn't, that I can present some information here inside of Youreka very dynamically using our conditional display logic, which would help guide me as a user through the process. So here I'm going to say if the answer was no, I'll say stop. This audit may not proceed until this item is complete. But in this case, the answer is yes, so I can move on. And now I'm just going to answer a bunch of questions about what I'm seeing on the job site. So have all the scaffolding been thoroughly inspected? If the answer is yes, then great. If the answer is no, maybe I need some explanation. So here is an example explanation. And so this really allows you to collect the right kind of information at the right time without having to show all of the different fields all at once. So we're really able to guide people through the form without a lot of unnecessary information. Next question, are all ladders equipped with a cage? If the answer is yes, maybe I want to be able to take a photo of this as a sort of way of just saying, you know, like, prove it. Let's go ahead and show us what you're seeing in the field. So we can use Youreka's photo capabilities. I just have an image here of a guy climbing a ladder with a cage. So we'll save this to our form here. For those of you that are a bit more familiar with the Salesforce's architecture, these are actually just Salesforce files that we're saving here. So this image itself is going to be saved here to the form record. We can mark it up if we want it to. But then when we pass this form back to Salesforce, that image is going to be available to us there. So I'm just going to go ahead and cruise through, answer a bunch of these questions. We'll say everybody's doing a really good job. The answer is yes, 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 yes. In this case, maybe we don't see everybody using full body harnesses, so we'll say no. So a couple of no's, but generally speaking, the answer to all these safety-related questions is yes. So we're here on our last page. The other thing that's really important to notice too is when we talk to a lot of customers, they have some pretty lengthy forms and they need to be able to navigate to different sections. We can do that right here inside of Youreka as well. So it's very easy for us to kind of bounce around to different parts of the form without having to scroll a great amount. So I'm just going to go to the very last section here where we answered those questions. And then we're presented with some final questions right here. So the first one is, please provide any other information about this audit here. I'll say, you know, everybody seemed compliant, minus a few minus a few items. And then finally, we can change the status of the audit when we're done. So it was originally scheduled, but now we'll just say that it's completed and we're basically done. The only other thing that I'll show you about this particular form here is that we can actually create other records inside of Salesforce right from our form. So maybe in this case, I need to speak with the site manager tomorrow as a result of this audit taking place. So I'll actually create a Salesforce task right here, and I'll just say follow up with site manager. And then we'll indicate that the due date is tomorrow so that when I get back to the office, if I need to log a call tomorrow to this particular person, I can do that. Say that the priority of the task and the status, and then we're done. So we've created a task record here at the very end after answering all the questions that we needed to answer as a part of this Work at Heights audit. So what I can do now is click Submit.